Welcome back, everyone, to the final game of the first week of UKLC. I'm Maurits Chronicle Meersen, joined by Dan Ox Harrison Hall. And we're going to have...
I can't pronounce your name, so...
Actually, that's fair. And we are going to have an exceptional match on our hands as Fnatic take on XL. But first, let's talk about that final, because that was quite the dominating performance there from XL.
Yeah, we'll have some clips from it. It was pretty clinical. I got to give respect to Heathen. He made some really good plays. The engages were good, but when you're behind on Nautilus, you just feel like paper. And again, Kakan made some good aggressive plays on the Crocodile. Managed to shut down Hyun in here, but it's just not enough. Special untouchable on this Victor, and the rest of the team was just monstrous. Sendo turns up later on, but it just felt like no matter how many kills Eminem managed to get, Diabolus managed to get XL in control. And this is looking at the Eminem XL game. And it was a similar story. Yeah, it was the same story here. Even when they got plays like this where they get a couple of kills, it's not enough. Because the control was consistently in favor of XL, and it feels like they've been doing so much better. The coordination's there. They are playing as a team, and this is what we didn't see for them last split. So I'm pretty excited for this next matchup, because last split, the LEC sister team matchups weren't that great. There was some couple good ones, but XL really fell short. But now I think this could be the best one we've had so far.
What I'm also really excited about is the fact that XL are not a team that that we've seen a lot of, which is just take it slow, get scaling, and then even if you're superior in these team fights, just play it from there. But instead, in the last game against Diabolus, we saw them take control from 130 with a late invade, just completely take PFI out of the game from the beginning, and then just snowball from there. Against Eminem, same story early on. They're just so incredibly strong. Now, in this game, yes, that's Janen's Heimerdinger. No, we're not going to see that again, supposedly. And Kasing's Yuumi was also incredible here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Yuumi, it's been Kasing on these sort of range supports where he just feels untouchable. He provides so much utility to his team. And this is the team fight between Diabolus and Demise. Diabolus looks so good here. But then against XL, they just look outmatched to the extreme. And a lot of people talked about last split, maybe the LEC sister teams are just going to look untouchable. And I don't think that's the case, but they're making a good case for it in this week one.
Yeah, coming out of the gate really strong. As you were saying, Diabolus coming into the finals, yes, they were the underdog, but we did see them have a really strong showing against both of their opponents, able to clinch out a win against Enclave and then, against Phelan, sorry. And perhaps more importantly, take on Demise, who were looking so strong against Envision. But then XL seems to just be on a whole nother level.
It just looks like there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah.
And I'm curious as to whether there will be a bigger fish in Fnatic Rising, because right now XL do look absolutely on fire, but we haven't seen Fnatic Rising yet. This will be their debut for the summer. And yes, they've had a slight roster change, which a lot of people think it's not going to make a massive amount, but I think how much Dan did for the team, it could change things up drastically.
Indeed. And last part about last match. We already talked about his Yuumi, and last game on Lux. Kasing is the MVP of the match for XL there, having an incredible showing, able to just find the bindings, find the place, and just make sure that his carry basically never got touched.
It seemed like he was just almost unkillable as well. There was that point where they engaged him in the mid lane, and then he still didn't die from the shielding.
He was
and
engaged
the heal.
by a Nautilus.
That's not Sejuani. You shouldn't survive that without a cleanse, and even with it, you're going to struggle, but he just was untouchable. Really putting a strong performance in, and of course, he did steal away the MVP from Hyanin, so unlucky.
Oh, that's the first time that Hyanin hasn't got an MVP for XL. Because he had a 100% MVP rate.
I made that statement, but I'm not sure if I'm right, because I think Singh also got an MVP.
So you were just wrong?
No, I think I was just wrong. I was lying. I was pulling these facts out of nowhere.
It's 2 against 2, which means that...
And it's 100% in the bot lane. XL's bot lane have been popping up. Who would have thought an LEC level bot lane who played there before, and with Hyanin making World Semi-Finals, that they'd be able to smith in UKLC?
But Hyanin didn't play bot lane in one of the games, because if you haven't caught all of the games yet, they already swapped around. Special went to the bot lane with
I'm counting it, whatever. I'm counting it.
Yasuo lane. And Hyanin went for the Corki, so we've seen so many switch-ups there, and that's what's really exciting. Now, we've talked so much about XL, let's talk a little bit about Fnatic Rising, because there's a lot of expectations on their shoulders, but we haven't seen it for a while.
Kasing got the MVP. Hyanin was the unsung hero. Oh,
there we go.
Got it. Finally, it clicked. I'm sorry, I've lied to all of you, but we have in the end. We have an MVP and an unsung hero for Hjarnan and 2 MVPs for Xing. So that bot lane is going pretty solid.
Still has, and let's take a look at the bracket. What got us where we are now? We see Darbalus. They got very far. Fought feeling won over the Mice, but then Excel just a little bit too big. And even though Eminem got far, everyone we've seen face off against Excel thus far, it looks like there are slight moments in which they can maybe get a couple of return kills, but actually taking turrets, actually pushing objectives, actually contesting the entire game just hasn't happened.
It makes me curious as to how good Barrage are. Because they got knocked out by XL, but they actually made it pretty, like, they put up a good
really
fight.
Did.
And it's like, was that just a rough draw against XL? Or, you know, I'm interested to see next week how things will play out. But more than anything, I want to see this next matchup, Fnatic Rising against XL UK, because these 2 LEC sister teams are stacked. A lot of talented players in their rosters, all of them gunning to be in the LEC. But for now, they have to try and lay claim to the top of the tower in the UKLC.
So let's talk a bit about Fnatic Rising. As we were saying before the break, they're a team that it took a little bit of time for them to get going in the last splits, as we take a look at the rosters in just a little bit. But once they got going, I don't feel like there was anyone who could really challenge them.
No, there wasn't. I mean, they played against Dablis in the finals and went 3-0. We do see the roster coming up now.
Shikari in the top lane, and G in the jungle, Magi Felix in the mid lane, and Xmati and Prosper as AD carry and support here.
Yeah, so slight changes, but a very stacked roster across the board. And a lot of titles under their belts.
Definitely, as we see Excel, Sendu in the top lane, Taxa in the jungle, Special in the mid lane, and Hjarnan and Kasing. That bot lane that we've talked about so much when we speak about Excel. And as we said before, it's not even that set in stone. They can swap around, they can do a lot, and now the question is, what is Fnatic Rising going to bring here?
I mean, that's the question. That's the big advantage that Fnatic Rising have, is that they can know exactly how XL has been playing. They've played 3 games on stream that me, you, and Jake have casted, so they have a pretty good idea of what they're going to bring to the table. No one is really sure with Fnatic Rising. You can obviously look at how they performed in E Masters, but that was quite a long time ago with a different jungler on a different patch. It's all up in the air, and I think that's going to give them an edge here, which may lead them to getting victory. But XL have that bit of practice in. They are looking strong. It's definitely going to be a fight throughout.
Looking very scary indeed. So let's break it down a little bit, because when we talk about Excel, I've said it before, it's always about the bot lane. Hjarnan and Kasing have looked unstoppable thus far. Do you think that Prosper and Xmati can kind of hold a candle to that and try to actively challenge them? Or are they going to suffer similar difficulties?
I think they're our best hope. If any team's going to do it, it's going to be them. If any bot lane's going to do it, it's going to be them. I think they're our best hope. I'll be interested to see the mid lane matchup as well. As Special, I would say, is still slightly better than Magi Felix, but he is probably the closest one to him in the scene, so it should be a good fight. I do think that top and jungle, particularly top, is favored towards Fnatic Rising, but it all depends how well they play around that and how much they can do. Let's take a quick look at the bans we've had so far.
We see the Nico taken away, a very popular pick, flexed a lot of ways as well, and of course, Hjarnan's Heimerdinger, we said it before, probably not going to see that anymore. If you do want to see that,
again.
You know, check back the VODs later on, but
yeah, check some Will VODs from last year.
Yeah, you see why it's not going to happen. Not going to see that anymore, as the Cannon and the Akali taken away here by XL. No ninjas for Fnatic here.
Yeah, they're not going to let them get that 4 ninjas buff.
I didn't want to do it. You went for it anyway.
Throw in the teamfight tactics quotes. We do have the Yuumi taken off the cards as well, so that bot lane that was so dominant up against Eminem is off the table for XL. Now coming in for that last ban, there are still things like the Aatrox available, the Aurelia available, a lot of picks in the air, and XL has to decide which are they going to ban away. They look at the Aurelia, now is over to Fnatic Rising.
I think for Aurelia has been permanently banned in every single matchup. We haven't seen
to play against the champion
whatsoever, as once again Sejuani gets first locked here in here for Fnatic Rising.
So this makes sense. Sejuani's really strong in this patch, but we saw XL have a great plan on how to punish the Sejuani up against PFI on Dabless. My concern is that will they be able to pull that off again when Fnatic Rising will see that coming? You have to expect that you don't first pick that Sejuani without going, what did they do last game against Sejuani? Oh, they late invaded and every other element of it. And we do see the Yasuo get locked in by XL, so a lot of bans coming towards that champion. It has been left open. Remember, they can absolutely flex it. And then the Trundle being picked up, the age-old counter to Sejuani to steal away all of those stats.
Yeah, and as you were saying before, last time the one with the Olaf that got such a big early lead that Sejuani was never able to kind of tank up and hold on against the pressure of the Ragnarok and the Axes. as the Civ also a very popular pick at the moment, very hot in contention, and the Lux.
That is the bot lane. I was going to say, I'm not very surprised if Lux follows this up. Lux, they've seen occasional bans, but those two together, very hard to engage on because of all the shielding and the spell shield. That is a strong bot lane to pick up already, and XL looking towards that Gragas. It is so good to combine with Yasuo. This seems like textbook sort of picks that they would take. I do want to see how it develops with the bans because XL still has a lot of flexibility, and I feel like that's something that Fnatic are lacking because we know Civ is going to be bot, we know Lux is almost definitely going to be support, and Sejuani is going to go in that jungle. So XL have the advantage going into this next phase because it's still a bit uncertain where everything will end up.
Because you might expect presumably the Gragas will go support unless you're going to go for something like a top lane Gragas. The Trundle
could go jungle.
Exactly, can go jungle as well. The Trundle can maybe go for support. You can play for top lane. There's so many ways, and the last time that they locked us in, they went for a later Trundle pick, and the Yasuo Gragas was flexed to the bot lane. The special, still taking that Yasuo, but just switching with Yarn, and as we see the Corki taken away there, and both Meji-Felix and last time that we saw it played by XL, Yarn, have had exceptional performances.
And it fits in with that composition. It gives a lot of magic damage and also a lot of sustained damage for that composition. And the Azir being taken off, because if you look at a composition with Sivir, Azir, you are never going to be able to push towers without Baron, and the scaling is absolutely obscene. So now going towards XL's second ban, where will they look towards now? They are looking for the LeBlanc, so not wanting that threat from Meji-Felix, respecting the man who has so many accounts in Challenger. And now it goes over to Fnatic Rising. Nico off the table, which is what they picked, their other pick to round out the composition for XL. So they won't be able to ban away anything that they picked last time they ran this Yasuo, Trundle, Gragas combination, but they could look for something similar. They do want to take off the cards. The question is going to be, where do you think everything will end up? Because that's what makes it difficult. And they will take the Karma. Possibility for it to go support, but also can be played top lane as a tank. And now it goes over to what XL will pick up.
And as you were saying, the Karma, a really strong pick. Every time that I think we've seen it banned in every single either first or second rotation. As we ask ourselves, what is XL going to go for? Because one of the big benefits of being this flexible here is also as the Karthus gets picked up, and even that can go a number of ways. It can go jungle, it can go mid, it can go bot. We don't know.
It's really hard to call right now. It makes it very difficult for Fnatic to predict, and they have to pick very carefully. They have to take their mid and top laner here, and they have to understand the risk of what they're going into. Camille is a possibility, but I feel like if you jump into the Carthage, you could end up with a bad time. Definitely seems like a pick that Meji-Felix would pick, and he does pick it up, and that means they still have an element of flexibility to their composition. So Camille could go top for Shikari, played it before in competitive, or Meji-Felix, we know he's the sort of person who would love an aggressive champion in the mid lane.
Also goes well with the Sejuani, as we spoke about before. A lot of engage and melee to proc that permafrost a lot faster. What I'm loving here, though, is that Fnatic Rising, they're getting a lot of these power picks, but XL is also getting a composition, at least for the first rotation, that we've already seen them do exceptional in. So it feels to me like both of these teams are kind of getting into a good position to take this game, which is really exciting, because it's not like you see one of the two teams have a strong advantage. We see the Shen getting picked up here.
Normally the traditional blind that Shikari likes to take is Kennen, but you do not want to do that into Yasuo because you know they could send it top and make it very risky. He takes the Shen, which is a safe pick, and now he's going to be in a pretty comfortable position to make a lot of pressure, but we actually see the Jax come out from XL, so if he is up against the Shen, is a little bit of risk of the outscale potential. We'll see a switch around to a degree and see where all these flexes end up.
And I'm expecting Yarnan to go mid lane again, and once again have that special Yasuo and Gragas bot lane. You know, for all I care, throw that Jax on Taxa.
I do have a massive concern for this Karthus in the mid lane, though, because up against a Sejuani and a Camille, that is very easy to make those ganks happen.
Incredibly easy, and as we're going to see some last second swaps here, or some sandbox impression, not going to happen. It will be the compositions that we see here now, especially with a teleport. I do got to agree with you there. The Karthus is a pick that if you leave him alone, he's going to be completely fine. But if you have a Sejuani and a Camille, that's not going to happen. The Shen with Stand United adds even more survivability to that, because as you were saying, going onto a Karthus is always kind of risky, but if you have even more survivability to boot, it becomes a lot less of a risk.
Absolutely, and it's going to be an explosive game. I don't think any team's clearly got the edge with their compositions. It's going to come down to how well they can execute, if they can make things happen on the bot lane with Sing's Gragas, which is so much work. It'll definitely be a good matchup for them, but there's a lot of defensive picks coming out from Fnatic Rising, and if they can get to the later stages, I really struggle to see how you're going to make things work unless you get an amazing flank off and then you still can get some backline access on that Sivir and also onto the Lux as well, who's going to provide so much shielding.
And with that, the champion select is done. Picks and bans are through. And both XL and Fnatic, as you were saying, versatile comps. It feels like a lot of comfort for both these two teams. A lot of power picks. And I'm incredibly excited to see who takes it here. Is it going to be XL, who thus far have looked practically unstoppable as we go into the final game of the first week of UKLC? It's going to be Fnatic Rising taking on XL UK. And then, I couldn't be more excited, but the big question for me is, who's going to take it all here?
It's hard to say. It's hard to call. There are elements going in both teams' favor. I will say one thing. There was a significant lack of magic damage out from Fnatic's team comp. I talked a bit about their scaling with the Sivir, but in the later stages, you can very heavily stack armor on things like that Trundle. Ninja Tabi is going to be brought almost across the board. And actually, Prosper and Matty going very aggressive just to put some poke down onto Xing. And instead, Tax is going to start on those wolves to avoid the pressure from the invade.
You know, with King's Tribute, Trundle was one of those picks where you're not going to feel too scared. And it looks like instead, we're seeing the Jax go mid lane here. Sendo taking on Magi Felix. And Yarnan going up against the tank in top lane.
I mean, I said it. I said I was really concerned about this this Karthus going mid lane against the easy setup from the Sejuani and the Camille. And instead, they send the Jax, which is going to be a much more favorable matchup. The, what's it called? The spinny?
Counter-Strike?
Counter-Strike. Thank you very much. The Counter-Strike, very effective at dissuading Magi Felix's damage, so a much less interactive laning phase where Sendo has a lot more power. It does mean, however, that Karthus on the top side, if Sejuani comes up for a gank, can be very vulnerable.
It's still a very long lane. It does mean, though, that if Sejuani has to actually get on top, has to move towards that top lane, it opens up the possibility for some plays, whereas that mid lane is a lot more accessible now. Matty and Prosper, they get priority here early on, as is to be expected from a lane like the Yasuo and the Gragas. And last time that we saw these two, or that we saw this bot lane from XL, it was early on, starting at level 3, they already started playing. Now, I don't expect them to be able to do that against the likes of Xmati and Prosper, who've had such success here for Fnatic Rising.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very difficult to land damage onto the Sivir with a spell shield. And I expect Matty to be on point with these so he can't get locked up and beaten down with this Yasuo. Right now, Magi Felix with a significant lane advantage. We talked about how this was going to be a bit more of an even matchup for Sendo, but look at those CS differences. That's not close.
That's going to feel bad already.
Yeah,
this far behind as we see both junglers making their way towards bot lane, and Sprotsfair gets taken low, is ignited, but the tornado does not hit. Teleport comes in as Taxa flashes forward for the kill. Xmati gets taken down as well, and now Magi Felix is there, but look at that beautiful pillar. The flash still connects to a double kill comes through here for Special, and it's an absolute clown fiesta in the bot lane in the 4th minute already, as it's 3 kills for XL to 0 for Fnatic.
And the skirmishing power of that composition is so much more in favor for the side of XL.
And you gotta imagine, Special once again goes in so deep here, and Taxa flashes forward, finds that early kill, and Fnatic Rising already now at 4 minutes, 1k gold behind. We've seen what XL does with a lead then.
Yeah, absolutely, and in such a perfect place, all that you saw. We saw the CS differences really being opened up across the board, and I was concerned, but the kills have really pushed it in the favor of XL right now. 1,000 gold lead, not super significant right now, but this early on, definitely the place you want to be in.
You're going to take it anyway. Taxa does not have flash available anymore as we take a look at the replay here. And how did that come to fruition?
Yeah, Prosper's just caught out. There's no way he gets out. They try and make the save, but honestly, with the bot lane already dead and the skirmishing power of these, that pillar was amazing from Taxa to block the hook shot. And then Sakari does a great taunt on 4 people, but by that point, it's already way too late for them. And it just ends up being a massive win for XL. All 5 members at 4 minutes in the bot lane from both teams. We knew it was going to be explosive, but didn't quite expect that.
No, definitely not. But this is reminiscent of what we saw last time. If you give Special and Kasing the opportunity to showcase these mechanics, to play as aggressively as they like to on this bot lane, they're just going to look incredibly dominant. And now with such a big lead for the Yasuo, you got to imagine that Xmati and Prosper, which felt fairly comfortable in a ranged versus melee matchup, now it's so much more threatening. If the Yasuo ever gets on top of you, what are you going to do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a massive struggle right now when you have the likes of Yasuo, off of Gragas. The engage is so easy. We talked about how we felt confident in Mighty and Prosper, but after that initial one came in, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, the pressure now unrelenting. Special moves forward, takes a little bit of a bad trade, but it's not too bad as Taxa and Angie meet once again.
It's really hard to play against Gragas' Sivir because you can like pop the Q at any time. There's no, you can try and predict with the spell shield, but you're really limited to what you can do. And Fierce Dragon being an Infernal, perfect situation for XL who have control. And when the scaling is so up in the air, they really want to ensure that they can secure this one.
And it's got to be noted as well that now the Requiem is available. We talked about this card for Spick. It is kind of a risk. But now with Yonan comfortably reaching level 6 into a matchup that, unless we see some jungle support, is not too much kill threat as the Dragon gets started up here by Taxa. Their Requiem being available means that the skirmishes that we saw earlier on, in conjunction with the gold lead from XL, are only going to go worse unless Fnatic pulls up something incredibly clean. Now, NG maybe try and look for a steal, but will not go for it. And that is the first Dragon here for XL. And is history going to repeat itself? Is XL once again going to take an early game lead and just run away with the game?
Well, we will have to see. I feel like if any team are going to hold on, it's going to be Fnatic. So has to be a bit careful here.
They do. Prosper take some poke, but they don't really want to engage there. And yeah, with the Stance United, with the skirmishing power of the likes of the Sejuani and the Camille, there's still plenty of opportunity here for Fnatic because while it's a sizable gold lead of almost 1.2k here at 7 minutes, it's not insurmountable.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gary going for some heavy trades with Shannon here, lacking enough MR to be able to withstand those lay wastes. That's the big thing, is that both of these junglers have global ults to help out their teams. Fancy footwork there, though. I feel like that's a big thing. If you can dodge away from those skill shots as Shikari, you have a possibility to trade. Yonan has to be a bit careful right now. If a Taunt comes in, could mean his death.
Definitely, yeah. Just proc that Q, proc that grasp of the Undying, and Shikari's going to feel a lot better of those being extended trades. Like you say, unless you have the fanciest footwork, those layaways are really going to hurt us. Sendo here, he's been sent onto the mid lane. He is a little bit of a CS disadvantage here. 15 CS already, so Magi Felix looking as strong as ever.
I'm not sure what we missed, but Shikari is very low. I think his fancy footwork did fail him for a bit there. They are going to look for the engage on a Shannon here. No flash available. They should be pretty free.
Yeah, it should be, but Shikari needs to be careful as Yanan is looking for those layaways, moving forward towards the top laner from Fnatic, but NG is doing the most of the work here, and by this time, Yanan doesn't really have mana available anymore. Magi Felix comes in and sweeps for the kill as Fnatic Rising pick up their first kill of the game.
Yeah, played it very slow, very calculated, give the kill over to Magi Felix. It does mean, however, that some damage will go down onto this turret in the mid lane from Sendo. I think they might have just stuck with this lane assignment. They're going to put Shikari in the mid lane up against the Jax. Hacks are going to try and apply some pressure, but, and once again, Prosper and Matt, you have to be careful because look, level 6 is available for both Special and Kasing.
And both the threat of a flash body slam or an explosive cast immediately followed up by a lost breath is always something to be afraid of, but for Fnatic, they're the one team that we expect to really put up a challenge against XL. And XL, they have shown some signs of weakness as we're approaching the 10th minute here in their game against Barrage. Because you were saying, Barrage, they lost that game fairly convincingly, but there were one or two moments in which they found those big team fights. And in retrospect, with how dominant XL now looks, you gotta say that seems somewhat worrying because either Barrage is incredible or XL are showing some sign of weakness when it comes to these overextensions in team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And might continue. Oh, Counter-Strike was used by Sendo. I think Magi Felix just goes for the kill here.
Yeah, it goes in with the hookshot. The Stance United comes through, and there's the Hackstack ultimatum as Shen joins the party. Teleport comes through from Yanan, and Sando flashes away. And now with no tool to engage on the Carthus, both teams are going to walk away here. But in the bot lane, there is more action. There is a beautiful explosive cast, but thanks to the root, Special can't join in for a last breath. And that means that Here as well, nothing actually happens.
That was perfect timing, because if that root didn't connect at that exact moment, 100% Prospect would have died.
Yeah, it was gone. It was over.
It's like Taxa is going to potentially look for a dive here. TP is available from the Shen.
And there comes the Requiem to seal the deal as Prospect gets belly bopped and is taken out immediately. Taxa taking a lot of damage, very low as Xmati flashes forward for the kill. And now Kasing and Special need to be careful. Can they run away here from Shikari and Xmati? Neither team really wants to commit as Sendo gets taken really low. Magi Felix not going to go back in though. And in the end, Kasing and Special do make their way out. Neither team wanting to take the leap and try and go for a 2v2 there.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be scared if the wind wall's available. And remember, some's still up for Special and Kasing. Got to be really concerned here. But Magic Felix having his way with Sendo, who is just not doing well in these 1v1 skirmishes. Even though the Requiem ult damage had come down on Magic Felix, Sendo still massively lost that fight.
And there we see Sendo teched. And of course, the Counter-Strike AoE reduction does mean that he's not taking nearly as much damage as it might have otherwise. And we do see now Fnatic though, there is an opening to try and pick up some of those coveted plates here on the mid lane. Taxa, he's having none of it, but he needs to be careful.
Oh,
Gets hit
next.
by the binding. There is the hookshot follow-up immediately. Permafrost has been procced, and that's the end of Trundle.
And that's the power of that Sejuani and the Camille. Once you land the hookshot, it's so easy to follow up the stun from the Sejuani, and Taxa just caught sleeping. No ult available, meaning he was a lot squishier than he hoped to be. They do go down. Remember though, full AD composition coming out from Fnatic. Ninja Tabi's already picked up by Taxa, and I don't think he'll be the last one.
Definitely not, as we see now Special and Kasing having made their way over towards the mid lane. Sendo, he's played every single lane thus far, just moving from mid to top to bottom.
TP is available for Matty, so I think he's going to recall and TP up top. May well have the Essence Reaver picked up. For now, Shikari is just going to pick up the wave. Stan United coming up pretty soon, about a minute. And before that happens, XL want to get some control. And you will spot out Kasing, and Prospect is waiting potentially for a pick.
Look at the vision control here, and last time we saw Taxa walk in, but this time they are not walking by Prospect. Shikari, he's well aware of the threat that awaits him. We see NG moving very far forward, and both these teams want to make a play here on the Rift Scuttler. And there comes yet another binding, but there is no follow-up for this one this time. Yarnan goes for a lay waste, but there isn't really any opportunity to engage on NG. And it looks like, at least for now, XL will take control of Shally, but I don't know if they can actually take it here.
Yeah, I don't think they can, because their concern is that Matty is in the side lane, but he has TP, whereas Sendo doesn't. So it would be a 4v5 if Fnatic decided to commit. And I think for that reason, they are playing a bit more cautiously. But now, Fnatic are moving towards the bot side. Sendo will have to back off, and the Rift Herald is up for grabs. That tower on the bot side, though, is also an option for Fnatic.
Definitely, and we might see a race here, try and get that first tower blood. And with 30 seconds left before the plates get dropped, I would not be surprised to see an immediate Rift Herald spawn here on top side. Shikari there, he's on his own, and we see the wave being shoved in by Xmati. We're going to have two towers getting pushed here. At the same moment, Taxa moving forward, and there we see Kasing summoning the Rift Herald, and it's going to be a race for the first turret blood.
Yeah, I do give the slight edge to Fnatic. Although actually, with the Herald crashing in, looks like XL will be able to take that one. They get the first tower blood, a lot of gold going up their side. Now Sendo can actually try to stop this one from happening. Might have to be careful. Does block the stun though. The tower still yet lives, and with the turret plate now down, less gold available for the side of Fnatic.
Now, Fnatic, we were talking about how early on in the game there was a sizable disadvantage, but approaching 15 minutes, it hasn't really grown. We're around a 1.5k gold lead here for XL, which is fine, but not what we saw in the earlier games, where they were able to just take a lead like that and completely snowball it. So the match they were hoping for, Fnatic are thus far able to match XL, something that no other team has done as of yet.
Yeah, and I think my concern as well is that you are really going to struggle to take towers as XL's composition, because you have a lot of melee champions. You have one ranged champion that's a Karthus who can't really walk up and auto towers. And it's not even like you're in a situation where you're like, oh, well, at least we can split push, because Fnatic actually has the better split push, because there's no TP on special. Magi Felix is stronger than Sendo, and you really don't... it would be hilarious to see a Karthus split push.
Yeah,
but
just get that Lich Bane, you know?
Why not? Just
put him in a side lane. Let's
imagine if they made it so you could auto when you were dead.
Oh.
You stand there,
That would be
what, fill the
something.
tower. I think I understand why they don't make that the case. And
I think it's good, but it would be fun for the Carthus player.
it would be hilarious. And XL will take that Ocean Dragon. Next is going to be in Infernal, and I have no doubt there will be a fight over that one because Fnatic want to equalize those stat buffs, but XL would like to double them. Sing and Special, they've been pretty tied at the hip for the entire game, and it's understandable the synergy available between their ults.
As Yana now hits level 11, and, you know, just like the Kassadin, that once he hits level 16, gets that third point in his Rift Walk, the same goes for the Carthus. Once you finally hit that third level on your Requiem, as we once again see turret trades happening here, Sendo tries to contest, but can't really find anything, with NG and Magic Felix pushing very aggressively, and now Special and Kasing do the same on bot lane. These two teams are very evenly matched.
Big difference, though, is the fact that they've managed to deny a ton of farm away from Sendo, which wasn't a possibility for the side of XL. They just pushed as quick as they could, and Chikari able to pick up some CS, but did get ulted. I think he's going down here.
Especially with the subjugation, a lot of his health and stats being taken away. Kasing finds the last minute stopwatch, but Sando gives up his life as well. And both top laners get taken down in the struggle, as the inner for XL, or for Fnatic rather, has already been taken down, but the one for XL is surely fast to follow, and these teams are so evenly matched.
That's just what I was going to say. They're so evenly matched. They trade in the exact same ways across the map. Gold is still a bit in the advantage of XL, but got to understand that they are going to... the gold, I feel, is distributed a bit better for Fnatic, because yes, Chikari is behind and not getting too much gold, but they are putting a lot onto X-Mighty and Magic Felix, and those two are the big carries for this composition. However, Special definitely no stranger to some gold in his pocket himself. Now completed the Infinity Edge and the Shiv. We'll get a look at those values. So big difference in the mid lane, pretty significant one in the bot lane, and then top lane is fairly sizable Pion and not exactly sitting on a massive amount of gold himself.
And the one thing for me is that it's a really action-full game as well. It's not like we've had really slow games or not a lot's happening, but 6 turrets are already down here at 70 minutes. We've had a lot of kills, we've had a lot of dragons taken. Shelly was a hot topic that was fought over by both these teams. In the end, of course, picked up by XL. And as we're approaching the 18-minute mark here, it's still really hard to call, because while I agree with you that Fnatic's composition is going to scale really well, there's the point of the armor, as you were pointing out earlier. Kasing tries and go for the body slam, but doesn't find anyone. But actually pushing turrets, if they don't kill someone, it's going to be so hard here for XL.
Absolutely. And you can see, I mean, Taxa knows that the threat is the AD, so he's already started that round of wins. Did get a slight buff on this match, 10 more armor. Definitely not going to complain about it, but Magi Felix in the silent is concerned. 2 levels up in Sendo, 60 CS. If he wants to go in for this, he will burst through him pretty quickly. He is going to respect the counter-strike. This tower is going to go down essentially for free. And in return, XL are looking to make a proactive play around the top side.
They're just mirroring each other.
Yeah, they're literally copying each other.
Every single time. And now the top side turret is going to get taken.
They're like, hey, what are you going to do next? Oh, I'm going to take the outer tower. And actually, John could be in trouble here. Ult does connect.
Didn't get that memo, gets hit by the Glacial Prism, but the Carthus diving is always a risky affair as Prospect gets taken fairly low. The Requiem is going to come through, but I don't think anyone is going to die, at least for now, because there is XL making their way over and trying to look for a pick. And if they can actually engage upon Fnatic, it's going to be great. There is the turret, and Xmati has fallen after a great last breath. Taxa keeps on moving, but a binding from Prosper is going to halt that, at least for now. And in the end, you got to give it to Fnatic, able to pick up the turret, find the kill, and get away mostly unscathed.
But the big thing was, because of that play, that mid tower is actually still up, and now XL are looking to take one in return, cement their turret lead. So did try and mirror each other, but looks like XL will come out ahead in this case, and Special still so strong on this Yasuo.
And coming into this match as we approach 20 minutes, we talked about this bot lane for XL, and Special and Kasing haven't died yet, have incredible KDAs here. Special, 100% kill participation thus far on this Yasuo.
He's just being monstrous. And you know what I saw in there was an interaction where Taxa pillared Matty and Matty's spell shield was up. The spell shield doesn't block the pillar knockup. So Special can just ult off that, and there's nothing Matty can do if the pillar hits him.
There's so much activation as well, because there is, of course, there is the pillar, there is the body slam, and there is the explosive cask. So there's so much that Matty needs to look out for.
And a tornado as well coming from Special himself, which would do a lot of damage right now.
Exactly, with how fed he already is building towards that Sterix gauge. And this Infernal Drake is going to be hotly contested. They engage on top of NG, but there is Xmati once again gets hit by the last breath and the pillar as they dive on top of Special, who finds a great stopwatch to keep himself alive, at least for now, but no kill has been found as of yet. And now the chase comes through from Fnatic as Taxa gets taken incredibly low, but they can't actually finish him off. Sando still going for Shikari, but it's the lay waste from Yarnan that picks up that kill, and it looks like Excel are the victors here, at least for now.
TP fan coming in though.
And the flank here, Magifelix, full health, a dangerous Camille is going to be looking for a big play here. Has been spotted out by a ward though, as the Infernal Dragon gets taken down. NG gets tagged by the pillar, Arctic Salt's over the wall. He's going to need to flash out unless he wants to go for a Miracle Steal, but he is forced away. And that teleport flank from Magifelix in the end couldn't find the window, couldn't find the opportunity, and Excel find themselves with another victory.
It's so hard right now for Matty to play Sivir because he just gets knocked up almost instantly by this pillar, and then there's no counterplay. He had to flash away there and still ended up so low in HP. Very little he could do in return. Excel in complete control with that double Infernal. They are really going to start hurting.
Amazing stopwatch as well there from Special, and with the Night's Vow about to be finished, let's take another look at how Excel really pulled off this team fight. As once again, it's the pillar and the last breath that started off.
He spell shielded it and it just did absolutely nothing. And then the Karthus still after means he has to stopwatch. They go for the fight, and this could have been very different if they had Matty pumping out damage throughout, but he was not there. He was too low in HP to do anything. And as a result, so many low HP bars for the side of Excel, but they managed to get away, and Shikari just falling on the back end. Fatal for them, and now we see the TP coming up from Magifelix, but XL are very aware, and they are not even scared of him. They have CC ready. They ward him off, and then NG, he's forced into a difficult spot. You either queue away, and you won't be able to go for a Baron steal, or you queue in, and you end up being caught. And now we actually see a play come in, and NG gets caught again.
And NG is gone. The teleport comes in from Shikari, but I don't know what he really wants to do here as Yarnan is making his way over. Sendo has also teleported. Hextech Ultimatum falls down as Magifelix does his very best, tries to run away here. And while there's still, at 22 minutes, a sizable goal against 3k for XL. Fnatic, they're still hanging in there, but with the jungler gone, we might be seeing a play for the Baron here, and engaging onto a Karthus is always a very scary thing, but they're going to try regardless.
Big thing is, though, the only ult available for XL is Shannon. It's still a very good one, but if fight comes out,
they engage on top of Shikari. Don't use the last breath yet as you get knocked up by the tornado. Crossfire, Shikari and Xmati try to run away as fast as they can as Kasing takes a lot of damage, and Magifelix once again with the Camille looking for the flank. They don't win a fight, but at least the Baron is still safe.
And that's the thing, is that they just weren't the ults available for XL to take that fight, despite it being a 4v5. Fnatic will force them off, and they can live to fight another day.
And really, that's a lot more than any other team that has faced off against the Cell can say thus far.
Absolutely. I mean, their early game has once again been really strong. It took a bit more to get going, but their mid game has been so powerful. However, Fnatic, that Sivir, if she gets the opportunity to scale up, get some defensive items behind her, she can be a menace. But right now, look at Special Yasuo. Look at the items and the damage he has. And not only that, the survivability from having a Sterix. It's going to be very difficult for Fnatic. They need another 10 minutes before I say they can comfortably start taking fights and guaranteeing a win.
And the question is XL going to give them those? And based on what we've seen thus far, it doesn't look like it, as once again, they move towards the Baron. Sando, crucially though, does not have teleport, and with Stance United, Shikari can join any fight that he feels like stands beside the rest of Fnatic Rising as they try and take on XL. They go for the wall coverage here, and XL, being aware of that, she's going to leave the Baron be.
Yeah, so just back off, respecting it. And now actually it looks like nearly quite a special, but good tornado interrupts the hook shot. Magifelix still very strong, very farmed, a lot of gold. And because Special has been in a duel lane, he hasn't got much gold, but actually Magifelix could be caught out here.
Gets engaged on a Special, doesn't find a knock-up yet. Stance United comes through as the exhaust takes away a lot of damage. No last breath available, and Special might get taken down here. Will get shut down by Shikari, and Excel might have crucially overstepped here as the rest of the team gets taken down. Now Texa is very tanky as the Requiem from Yarnan comes through. The crucial thing is that Sando is going to go for this bot lane inhibitor, and Texa is incredibly tanky. so he stays alive for a long time. But Fnatic are looking towards the Baron with Shikari already backing, trying to keep them off. Now, we only have Kasing here trying to do the impossible as the inhibitor will go down in the bot lane, so we might see a Baron versus inhibitor trade. And last we can see a miracle still here as the 1v1 rages on in the bot lane. It looks like the Baron will go over to Fnatic here. So the first really big mistake that we've seen from Excel here thus far.
And it was just flawless play from MagiFelix. He dodged away from the knockups for so long. And honestly, Special, you had a lot of opportunities to use that last breath, and you didn't. You didn't use it on the pillar. You didn't use it on the ult from Kasing. And that was honestly the thing that led to your death, because you couldn't reset your flow and get a shield again. Just a big misplay from him combined with some solid plays from MagiFelix and then his team reacting. And now, Fnatic have the Baron, they have the gold lead, and they're feeling a lot more confident about their state in this game.
And the one saving grace, of course, there is that Sender was able to pick up that bot lane inhibitor, meaning that that is going to be pushing. But as you were saying, they're not really in a position where they can actually make use of that. They can confidently set up a 1-3-1.
I think MagiFelix is fine with that. He's just going to get farm. And oh, the ult doesn't connect from Kasing. Mighty Spell shields it. Crossfire dodges it with a fancy feat. Good moves will keep them safe. And XL, they try and make an engage, buy some space, but it is not enough. And now, what's starting to look significant is the XP differences. NG, 2 levels up on Taxa. MagiFelix, a level up on Sendo, and I have a feeling that he just hit level 16. Mighty is now up on Special, which hasn't been the case all game. That is really scary.
And Fnatic have, at least for now, turned it around as they pick up the first Dragon of the game. We're behind for a very long time, but now
they've caught up, and the next Dragon is an Infernal, and that is the best case scenario for Fnatic, because it means they can start to equalize some of those percentage stats now that they're feeling more confident in this game. When you see Sendo pushed up that top side, someone will have to go answer him, and it is going to be Shikari. It looks like not very much is going to come from Fnatic's Baron, but they have managed to stabilize this game, and you absolutely know that Mighty, given more time, will scale to be a monster.
And it's, of course, a double-edged sword, because if XL can pick up that Infernal Dragon and then ever find an Elder, it's going to be incredibly hard to deal with. The amount of stats that they get on the back of that is going to make them almost impossible to fight in a battle. We now see the Rabadon's death cap finished for Yarnan.
See MagiFelix waiting for
He's ready.
Sendo. He does have Stand United, so he would absolutely win this. It would end up turning into a 1v2. No TP is available for Sendo, but it looks like Sendo is wise to the tricks.
Just deny it. Just immediately place a pink ward somewhere else.
Yeah. Why not?
Not going to give it to you.
Don't give him the gold. Makes a difference. And we do see XL trying to get up in position. There is still quite a risk, because if you try and go too far forwards, the engage is so strong from XL. And Fnatic, even with this Baron, have to be respectful. But they know they are in a much stronger position to take a team fight, and they did win the last one.
Both Stand United and Teleport available for Shikari, so even though he's in the top lane, he can join the fight at a moment's notice. Also, almost level 16, which means that the shield being on Matty is going to become absolutely bonkers, with Crossfire and Shikari both making sure that that carry is not going to get taken down. And we've heard the stories of Sivir, how incredibly strong she gets if she can get to that late game point.
They are just doing so much damage, and he is going to go for the Phantom Dancer next, which means she has a bit more shielding, a bit more safety from those engages. It's been a while since Special ascended. He has recalled. He's going to get that BF going towards that GA, but does not have it yet for the next team fight. And right now, I mean, Fnatic are fine with this. They're happy to scale into this game and just pick up as much farm as possible. There's nothing XL can really do without a Baron. And by Fnatic taking it is essentially just delay the point at which the game can be ended. And I said 10 minutes, and I feel like Fnatic can start to comfortably take fights. Well, we've got 6 more minutes to go from the original timer. I think they might want to pull the trigger sooner and go for that Dragon.
And it's just stifled Excel so much, because I was talking about the Knight's Vow on Taxa that was almost finished. He's just getting that now. It took him an incredibly long time because, you know, as a Trundle, look at his CS, he's just giving over so much resource to the rest of his team to try and fulfill a more supporting role. And now with the Spear of Shojin finished, we might see more from Sendo as well. But the big question, as you were saying, is these next big objectives, this Infernal Drake, this Baron, they're absolutely crucial for XL. Whereas for Fnatic, I feel like as long as their base doesn't go down, they're always going to have a shot. Whereas for XL, We've seen them get ahead and snowball a game. But this time, they went from being ahead to being 1k gold behind. Now at almost 30 minutes, 1k gold, that's nothing. But it's more about the shift that they now need to make to try and get the upper hand over their opponents in Fnatic. And Shikari,
he's going to TP out.
She's going to teleport
away.
Goodbye. Not having any of it.
Oh, I'm not even sure if they saw the TP come, but they know he's disappeared. They will back off, and under normal circumstances, your top lane and burning TP like that would be unfortunate, but Shikari has Stand United. Yeah. He's not bothered at all. And it's not even him who they're sending the side lane. They're putting MagiFelix there, who has TP as well. Special Wolves cut through these waves pretty quickly, and they do still constantly have priority despite now being in a gold deficit. But the wave clear is just so strong from Fnatic. There's very little they can do to take structures other than try and get that Baron. Pings come out, and I actually think MagiFelix might be looking towards getting that bot inhibitor tower, but Sender will recall.
We're starting to reach endgame here, Orcs. As you know, games like this, we don't see them a lot anymore, although we did have a 46-minute game yesterday. But in general, the game is sped up a lot, and it looks like this might actually be a slow one here. We're approaching max levels, we're approaching higher points of itemization.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic don't want to force it because they know having an AD carry means that the later it gets, the more beneficial it is for them. Yasuo obviously can put out a ton of damage, but the fact that he's a melee champion and quite squishy means he's going to be vulnerable in the later team fights. So they're confident just to keep waiting and waiting. And now that XL have lost control, they're struggling to get back. But actually, Fnatic are looking for a fight.
There comes E-Gage. Great win from Special means that the Glacial Prison gets in on as MagiFelix finds his way on top of Yarnan. Teleports comes in, but Yarnan is already gone as the Requiem comes through. A lot of damage here as Shikari dodges through, but Xmati stands too far forward and gets taken down. As Special is still alive, his GA hasn't even been procced. We see Shikari and MagiFelix trying to do the work, but they can't manage to find anyone else, and it's just Yarnan who early on got blown up as Sendo continues to chase, but the binding from Prosper means that at least for now, Fnatic won't be able to push on, but look at these objectives that are open to them now.
And it was just a massive mistake from Fnatic. They felt obliged to force, and if there's anyone you're going to kill first on XL, you do not want to kill the Karthus because he will be fine with that one. They now are going to look to take that Baron, and the Infernal is also on the cards. Shikari and Prosper are going to move over to try and defend it, and their RTP is going to be available soon from MagiFelix. They might be able to keep the Infernal as an objective take, but for now, XL are going to take that Baron essentially for free.
And you got to question the engage as well there, because you understand Fnatic, they want to try and find someone, want to try and force, as you were saying, but trying to hard engage on the Yasuo, who just wind walls the Glacial Prison immediately, makes it so much harder for you to really get anything done. And now the Infernal Dragon also getting started up here by Yarnan, Taxa and Sendo, and we might have another team fight on our hands here as MagiFelix is gonna get into the fray, finds the stun, but the counter-strike gets him as well. And there is the steal coming through from NG, but have they given everything up trying to obtain that dragon? At least for now it doesn't look like it. MagiFelix finds the kill and NG is still alive, and the damage comes through, but Kasing now making his way back, and the Requiem is gonna seal the deal here. Yarnan isn't even dead, but look at how low everyone gets. Prosfest trying to rob an off on his own, and the body slam doesn't actually find him yet, but Kasing surely will be able to close that out as they do decide to go on a little bit longer, chase Prosfair. There's the belly bop, and that's going to be the end of 4 members of Fnatic as XL once again take control.
Fortunately though, the wave's not in a good position, so they don't feel like they're in any space to end. Fnatic managed to steal the Infernal Dragon is the only consolation there, but these fights are so close, and it's what we expected from our 2 top teams coming into the UKLC Summer Split.
And we're treated to a gorgeous game here. Let's take another look at that engagement here on Special.
And it was just a complete mistake. You throw the ult at the person who can win more, that they expected to catch him off guard, and then MagiFelix goes in straight on Yarnan, but he is not the target you need to kill. Special survives for so long, gets taunted here by Shikari, but his GA does not even get popped, as you said. And then flash from Sendo onto Maddie. They instantly take him out, and from then, you're really lacking the damage. MagiFelix tries to do as much as he can, really pulls a lion's share of that team fight, but it's not enough. Special is pumping out so much damage and is untouchable in that team fight.
Baron buff still there for a minute and a half as the pressure is on for Fnatic, and this game is as swingy as we've seen as of yet, as NG gets tagged by the pillar, won't get taken down yet, but with the Baron wave, this is what XL needed. They don't have an AD carry, but if you have Baron and powered minions, you can just melee that turret down.
Yeah, one thing is that Sivir ricochets are doing a lot of damage. Bounce between every member. Special is able to lifesteal up, but it's a lot of poke.
And of course, Shikari, once again, the stance united means that he's having an easy time pushing towards that bot lane, meaning that someone from XL needs to make his way over there. And we might actually see yet another stall out here if the game continues at this pace, if they can't break the inhibitor. But there is the last breath and the explosive cast on top of Postfair, and he's taken down. A special is on a killing spree. Now NG gets taken low, the tornado, the counter strike, and that might very well be it for Fnatic. And XL are looking incredibly dominating here as they are poised to take down Fnatic. Now Magi Felix is still alive after the Guardian Angel, but the Requiem is gonna get blocked by the great use of the stopwatch, but I don't think that even matters. The inhibitors are down, the waves are crashing onto the Nexus, and XL might have just done it here.
Yeah, they are looking to end this game. 5 members down from Fnatic. They've taken them all. XL still all standing, and they will easily crush them and be our first UKLC Tower champions of the summer split.
And what a performance from XL, a team that last season, a lot of people felt like they weren't really performing to the level that we expected. Yes, they were good, but to have a performance like this in your first week, absolutely demolished. But Fnatic Rising, we wanted them to challenge XL, and they most definitely did.
They absolutely did. There were definitely some good points to take from that, but it just felt like XL, they had the strong early game, they kept it going, and they just didn't let Matty play League of Legends. And, you know, what I was going to say is T2-esque in the fact that they just didn't want to play AD carries for Sean, and they have so much flexibility with their picks. It's so hard to predict what you're going up against. And Matty, who has been very happy playing traditional AD carries, has struggled massively.
And XL, as you were saying, we did see this was the first time we saw actual big signs of weakness. That one overextension, the team fight that they tried to force in top lane when they all piled on top of Xmati. And that's the things that Fnatic are going to be looking towards and try and fix. But again, the early game from XL looking really great here.
Yeah, absolutely. The early game has looked very solid from them, and there were some little bits of mistakes, but for the most part, they have put on a solid performance, and there's no surprise that they are going to be on top because they just played really strong throughout. And got to give testament to every team gave them a little bit of a challenge, so there's little moments where you're like, could they bring this back? But XL have been in control, and obviously Fnatic Rising did get the closest, but it's shown that this is a new XL, and they are here to make a statement.
They definitely do, and yeah, again, credits as well to Fnatic Rising, because with how dominant XL looked there and the fight that they were able to put up, that is something that you take into the next match. Because I gotta imagine that Fnatic coming off, I think we got Jake doing crazy things behind my shoulder, don't we?
Yeah.
Just ignore always. Jake as we move on. They gotta want a rematch after this game, because absolutely. It must have felt like they were so close after finding that team fight, getting that Baron, and trying and play off that.
Yeah, and it just feels like there's too much that you have to ban against XL, because I don't think there was any mistakes necessarily for Fnatic. You have to ban the Heimer, you have to ban the Yuumi, and it just felt like there was too much available. The Yasuo was so problematic for Xmati, and it really begs the question, what can you do?
What do you do? And, you know, I don't know.
Get a spell shield, it didn't do anything.
And that's really the thing, because the Trundle, we talked about it as how great it works against the Sejuani, but I feel like the biggest part of this game was just the pillars.
Yeah, the pillars were really solid from Taxa throughout, and the fact that he set up the Yasuo, and it's not spell shieldable. If you throw the Gragas cask at a Sivir, she's just going to spell shield, but if you pillar her, there's nothing she can actually do. She's always going to get ulted by the Yasuo, and it looked rough. Honestly, looked like they just didn't let him play League of Legends.
And the MVP is going to surprise absolutely no one. If that wind wall wasn't enough to deny that crucial engage, it is, of course, special on the Yasuo. 18.0 KDA here. And really, the Yasuo play has been on a whole nother level from him.
Yeah, and there's just so many picks that XL can bring out, potentially flex, but also just be a massive monster zone. And it's the fact that you don't even know who you're going to be laning up against yet. Sendo in the mid lane, Hjarnan in the top, and then Special in the bot lane. That great wind wall again, and he did so much damage to his team fight. And you look at the way he dashes through, it's just so hard to pin him down. And if you don't CC him, he's going to just keep pumping out damage.
And of course, Kasing, one of the big, and Taxa, the big enablers here for Special. But also credit to Sendo, because he was dealt kind of a rough hand, fell behind early against Matty, was sent from mid to top to bot, always the one rotating, but still had a sizable impact here in the mid game.
Yeah.
And just did what he had to do, you know, just a consistent force. And of course, Hjarnan, yeah, as we were saying, you know, it's kind of feels a little bit awkward if you get killed as a Garthus, but then you realize, wait,
I'm Carthus.
I'm Carthus. That doesn't really matter,
this looks
does
pretty
it?
good. I can now ult.
My defile doesn't cost mana?
The only person I still have a bit of concerns about is Sendo. I think that he had a really solid performance in the later stages. His team fighting was great, but just the early lane against Magifelix seemed a bit rough. And I think that also on the side of Fnatic, I feel like Shikari just hasn't seemed to be the player who will punish him for that as of yet. So I feel like unless Fnatic really step up their game, XL are going to look really comfortable on the top.
And that's, of course, also their Cannon Bane coming on big because Shikari has made many a top laner fear the little Ninja Yordle, but fortunately for him, not available this game. And the Shen, while a strong pick, it did show that it wasn't really able to put pressure. The Stand Unites were great, but they also weren't able to really leverage that extra man in a lot of situations.
That's the question for me, is that would it have been better to take the cannon? Because it would have potentially been...
It was banned.
I don't think it was.
First rotation. 100% certain by XL.
I'm just clowning there.
That's okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what XL for as well, so you were on the right track there.
Yeah, okay. That threw me off completely because that's fair.
Fine.
Thank you for keeping me on top of these things.
That's not, you always do it for me, so I thought it was only nice to...
yeah, so what you should do is you should ask XL not to ban Kennen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
That's a great plan.
Yeah, hyped matchup.
It was really, what I really liked is that if you watch the other games today, or yesterday as well, we had some one-sided games. Demise versus Envision comes to mind. We had a really long game with Darbless versus Phelan that was constantly back and forth. But this one, it just felt like high-level League of Legends. Every single mistake got punished. And there was just a lot of action as well because, like I said, the Darbless game was 46 minutes, and I don't think there were nearly as many kills as this one, where it's just constantly action-packed, high-level gameplay.
Yeah, and it felt like everyone had their moment. Everyone had some big plays. It was just a really hard game for either team to win, but XL managed to edge ahead, and special, well-deserving of that MVP. He had some really solid Yasuo gameplay. So, yeah, hopefully teams don't let him get it anymore.
Still getting distracted, aren't you?
No, Jake's just sitting there chilling.
I thought something else was going to happen.
Get distracted by your eyes.
You never know. You always get surprised here in UKLC. And we are going to go into an interview here with the top laner, Luxel Sendo. I mean, I said top laner, but he played mid there.
Yeah.
Played everything.
Can play everything.
Yeah, so, hey, Sendo, you there?
Hello.
There we go.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good to hear you. So you were sent everywhere there. You started up mid lane, then you went top, then you went bottom. How do you feel with the performance of XL in this initial week? Because you guys have been looking almost unstoppable.
I think we did a good performance. We started definitely better than the last split, and I think we can get much better than this as well.
Oh,
that's
promising.
I mean, for now it's good, I guess.
Yeah,
good, I guess. Take it.
So a lot of people,
it's okay.
A lot of people see Shikari as the top laner to beat in the UK scene. And how do you think you're matching up to him? Obviously, you didn't get a lane against him in that game, but do you think you can challenge his throne, 4-time winner of the UK?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, good answer.
Yeah, not much else to say, I think.
Yeah, no. I mean, bad question, Orcs, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm
all for this.
I mean, I didn't get to lane against him this game, right? But I mean,
I was laning against Magifelix.
Quite hard, to be fair. Like,
yeah.
I noticed the Sejuani on my chest.
Yeah.
As well.
And that is rough. Was that like a decision you made, or was it like Shannon saying, "No, I can't lane against Sejuani, Camille. You take it."
I mean, we just decided to try it out, kinda.
I mean, yeah, just might as well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Very well.
I mean, I don't want to say too much as well. Like,
we
just wanted to try it out.
Yeah.
We just wanted to cosplay G2, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it went pretty okay.
Yeah, G2 cosplay, a lot of flax is coming through. So, after this performance from XL in the first week, how do you feel like the LEC sister team has influenced you guys? Because obviously with Yarnan and Kasing and Special as well, they've all been on fire. How has that influenced you guys who are part of the 10-man roster as well?
I mean, you notice it a lot, especially with Yarnan and Kasing. They have a lot of experience. So they kind of act like coaches as well in scrims, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a much faster learning process when you're scrimming with them, also outside of the game, and that helps a lot in the development of the whole team. Also how we move around the map, just everything. And yeah, like it's pretty good everything they apport to the team. Say it like this.
Very well. Don't know if you have any further questions. I know you always do. So.
No, I think
Actually,
that
you
sort of
don't.
wraps it up. I don't for once.
I
think
have one more.
you have one more. You drop it then.
So yeah, man, got questions for days. So, final question. Fnatic got close at points, but they weren't able to fully challenge. Do you think that if you guys keep playing the way you do, that any of the teams in the UKLC are going to challenge you, or is this going to be a clean sweep from you guys? And you know, a very courageous answer is appreciated.
I mean, I want to be confident here and want to say that we're gonna take it home. But I think our biggest rival will be Fnatic for sure. Throughout the whole split, they'll become better. We just have to improve at the same rate or faster than them.
Yeah, constant back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think we can take it home. But yeah, Fnatic is not to underestimate.
Definitely not. Thank you so much, Sando. Have a great evening. Enjoy your victory.
And congratulations.
And congratulations indeed.
Thanks a lot and good evening.
Cheers. So, fortunately, it's not just the two of us. We also got this guy. Don't know if you know him.
I don't know if my mic's live.
need the box.
Hey, it's live. We need the box.
Hey.
Go grab the box, mate.
The box.
The old ball pit's a little bit low.
There we go.
There we go. I'll pick that up. Don't worry, mate.
Thank
I know you want to be useful, but just stand there, all right? Just look
You don't
pretty.
trust me to touch anything.
I don't
in
trust
case
you,
break
no.
it.
All right. So, if you've seen a draw before, you know exactly what we're doing here. But this is how we're going to lay the draw out. So, we'll be starting with our blue sides for game 1, game 2, game 3, and game 4. Then after that, we'll be doing game 1's red side, game 2's red side, game 3's red side, and then game 4 red side. Now, the crucial thing is we can't draw the same teams we had at the beginning of this week. So Envision can't play Demise, XL can't play Barrage. If we do up in a situation like that, they will be shifted over one game, and then we'll go back to drawing the game we were currently
Do
drawing.
we not need a whiteboard to write this all up?
No, I've got it all over there. It's fine. Don't worry. All right.
No, but I mean, like to write it all out when we pick them.
I don't even have a pen, dude. Just draw a bloody ball.
Whatever.
Pick it, just draw a ball.
Whoa, and it is.
All right, so this is blue side for game 1 tomorrow.
Phelan.
So Phelan, you are on blue side game 1. This will not be their opponents. This will be blue side for game 2. So Chronicler,
Thank you.
over to you. I always looks really
attention.
awkward. Whoever's doing it, they just don't know what to do with their hand.
No, I feel very confident. doing
Okay.
This.
Well, this is blue side for game 2, and it is
It
going to
will
be
be.
Envision.
Envision.
Exciting stuff.
Did you envision that?
Actually, hold on. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I put a Fnatic ball in there. If we pull XL, they count as Fnatic in this situation.
can't get
Sorry,
good
guys.
help.
Honestly, I didn't know what was happening until like 2 minutes before. So XL's logo is actually Fnatic's Rising logo.
I do
Don't tell me
love that you
otherwise.
own up to this.
Well, I only
kind
just
of
realized. I was like, hold
expected
on.
you-
I
you
didn't put
played-
Fnatic in there. All right, okay. Well, this is going to be blue side for game 3. Orcs.
So, because you feel like it's awkward, you just don't do any of the drawings yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what to do. I mean, Orcs looks so awkward, man.
I'm just passionate about it.
All right, so Diabolus.
Diabolus, the devil's himself.
They ended with 66.6 thousand gold in their last game today. The Devils
Calculated.
666. Yeah, I know.
no.
That's what I said. All right, Chronicler, this is the last blue side for next week, and this will be game 4.
It will be.
Barrage. Cool.
Barrage Esports.
Right, so now we're going to switch our attention towards game 1, red side.
I can't keep track. Okay, this is so hard to keep track of.
So who is game 1? Can you remember? Because I can't.
Phelan.
Phelan. All right.
Phelan.
So
Okay, so they
Phelan
can't.
plays.
Diabolus has already been
It's
picked, so they
Phelan?
can't face them.
Okay, so we can't have a tie on this one. So
Phelan and Vision.
It is
Phelan
Demise.
versus Demise will be our first matchup of next week. Then taking on our second team, who is
And Vision.
Envision. Thank you. Thank you.
Who can't play Demise,
Can't
as you
play
picked
Demise,
that,
so
yeah.
we're in a good position already. We're already in a good position.
Who's then? It's Diabolus.
Diabolus.
And who do we pick for?
Barrage.
Barrage.
It
And
will
Barrage
be.
Yes.
played.
It'll be Fnatic Rising.
Okay.
I
So
should have changed
Envision.
this.
This is not Excel. Okay?
That is Fnatic,
Fnatic Rising.
Rising.
I can
All right.
draw another Fnatic logo on this.
So
if you give me
Envision will
some
be
time.
taking on Fnatic Rising in game 2.
Yep.
3. How many balls? 3.
Two.
Two.
Two more
Game
balls.
2.
Oh, we're useless at this.
Oh man, I should have got a pen and paper. All right, this is
I
going to
told
be
you.
game
Told
3,
you.
red side, taking on Diabolus, I believe. Should be Enclave. There we go.
Wanna do the
Enclave
others?
versus Diabolus will be game 3. Am I right? I really hope I'm right. I know there's going to be a graphic, so if I'm wrong,
Barrage
I'll
is
be
the
proven wrong.
final one.
This is who's
Barrage.
playing
Make
Barrage.
you swirl around just so.
We know who this is, but just for...
Do you, Jake?
I do. You didn't know, did you?
I did.
It's Eminem. Eminem are going to be our last game, and they'll be taking on Barrage on the right-hand side of our bracket. So we'll bring that bracket up briefly so you guys can have a little rundown, because I can't remember who's playing who already.
Game 1.
It's been a long 2 days, dude.
Game 1 is going to be Phelan versus Demise. Game 2 is going to be Envision versus Fnatic Rising, not Excel. Important. Doublers versus Enclave, and we're going to end off with...
Barrage versus Eminem.
Wow, you guys remember that really quickly, and it's impressive.
Yeah, really impressive. Do you want to... Let's just get rid of this. There we go. That's in the way. Awesome. All right, oh, there we go. I'm losing my balance. I'm almost falling on you. Thank you very much for joining us here for week 1 of the UK League Championship from myself, Orcs, and Chronicle. We've had an absolute doozy of a week, but you still have more to go coming up. We've got 7 weeks of tournament before we work our way towards that final. So if you missed any of this week's games, you can head over to our YouTube channel, LVP UK LOL, where you can watch all of the previous VODs and videos from Forge of Champions, our previous tournament, and the spring split of the UKLC. And if you want to get involved in the conversation, head over to our Twitter, which is LVP UK LOL. Use the hashtag UKLC to get involved in the conversation and chat to us, because we want to have a chat with you guys. I think we only brought one tweet up so far.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Yeah,
More
come
tweets.
on, guys. Bring it up. I want to have a little talk about it.
Otherwise, you're going to let Pravius have monopoly on the interactions.
Yeah.
That's what he lives for.
Yeah, I remember a lot of conversations last time that really educated me as a Dutch guy about UK culture, which I thought was great.
Biscuits. We had to talk about biscuits.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look at the
Alan
bracket
Partridge.
and not biscuits. So this is next week's games. We'll be starting out with Phelan versus Demise. We'll be finishing, rounding up with Envision versus Fnatic Rising. After that, then Diabolus versus Enclave, and ending the day with Barrage Esports versus Eminem. And to our champion, it is Excel, and they've had a stellar week so far.
Absolutely. They've constantly impressed in every game. There were some close moments, but every game has been pretty one-sided.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much for joining us here on the UKLC for the first week of the summer split. We'll be back at Wednesday, same time, same place, for even more UK League action. Until then, we'll see you later.
See ya.